Okay, everybody, here we are. It's Sunday the 19th, and I promised that we would do a Facebook Live on a Grapevine. So I have a moderator here. He's over on the naughty seat. So let me know if you can hear me before we get too much further. I'm hoping that a few people already be on. Let us do a little bit of sound check and make sure that you can see the video clearly if anybody's there. I'm excited. We're hoping to get through this in about 45 minutes, so you can do what you're going to do this afternoon and not have to be stuck in front of your computer or phone or whatever you're watching on. So do we have anybody on yet?
It's frozen.
It's frozen? Uh-oh. Hold on.
On mine.
Are you pushing? There you are. Let us do a little bit of sun. Are we okay? Are you pushing?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. Can everybody hear me? I want to make sure before we start, because once I get going, it's going to be pretty fast and furious.
There's Carol Davis is the first one.
Okay, Carol, hi. Welcome to everybody. And you're going to need to turn that volume down. Just turn your volume off. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I want to welcome everyone to our first official tutorial that's live, and it's just me in the shop today with my assistant and of course Honey Roo, the shop dog. And we're going to do actually this is an order that I need to work on, so I'm happy that I can get that off of my custom order board. And the customer came in to the shop last week and she picked out the ribbon that she wanted. And I went ahead for the sake of time and made the terry bow. This was the ribbon. Make sure everybody can see this. This was the ribbon that she picked out, and I like the combination that she selected. So I went ahead and did that. If you want a tutorial on the terry bow, of course, you know you can go to YouTube and look for it there. And Regina Sellers, who invented the Pro Bow the Hand, has those wonderful videos, and there's a couple of different ones. One's very detailed and it goes slower, so you can get all the information on how to make this fabulous bow. And I won't take time today to do that, so just refer to that video if you will. So we're going to do this Grapevine, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit first about the tools that we're going to use, or at least the tools that I use. Everybody uses different things, but for me these are kind of my go-to standard things that I use in my shop every day when I'm doing a grapevine wreath. So let's put the bow aside. Of course, you're going to need scissors, and I've got to have my pick machine. You know that those of you that follow me know that I love picking all my stems, and for me it's just a way to secure the elements into the wreath so that they're there for a long time. Because when people buy these from me, I want them to make sure from year to year they're going to stay all together. So I have my pick machine, of course wire cutters. I don't know what colors you have or what type. And I use these needle nose pliers quite a bit. And we may need some wire for something. And I do have a glue gun and a glue pan, and this is just a regular skillet that you can buy at Walmart or wherever, and I've just put in the little glue pillows, they call them, and it melts, and I use that. It's easier than using the glue gun all the time. So those are just some of the tools that I use. There is, for those of you interested, and I looked earlier, this is a different type of pick plier, and I don't see them available anymore. Maybe somebody can do some research. I looked earlier today, but it does the same thing that this bigger pick machine does, but it's not as expensive. And I want to say I got this, it's been several years ago, but they run about $29 instead of $179 for this big boy. But I don't see that they're making these anymore. That might be something we need to research. But if you wanted a pick machine at a different price point, that might be an option if you can still get it. Maybe eBay or somewhere will have them. So we're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing that I do on a grapevine is, in this case, it's a custom order. So the lady wanted a certain size. Be aware when you're making something custom that it's going to fit the customer's door. You need to either get a measurement from them, or give them a wreath size to choose from. This particular customer is selecting this smaller wreath size. This is about 18 inches across, and there is one that's about 24 inches. So when you get to the bigger size on a standard door, it's going to pretty much fill up the entire door. And of course, the bigger the grapevine wreath, the more you have to put on it, so the price is going to go up a little, or sometimes a lot, depending on what you put on it. So pick your base. I like to start with what I think is a good shape. In other words, you kind of turn it around so you make sure, you know, that you've got a good round form. And I'm going to decide that this is my top. Now, if you get confused about where your top is, you can put a little piece of wire there to make sure that that's always your top portion. But I'm going to remember this piece of branch here is my top. That's where I'm going to start. Okay, what I recommend on this particular grapevine, because she's already selected her bow, I'm going to put the bow on first. Now, some of you have said to me, why do you put the bow on first? It just helps me to sort of decide where everything else is going to go. Again, custom order. Her doorknob is on the left, and so I want to make sure that the bow is on the right side of the wreath so that if she reaches down to grab the door, the tails on the bow don't get in the way. I hope that makes sense. But think about those little extra special things that mean something to your customers instead of just throwing something together, because any of those little things, you know, show that you've got some of their particular needs in mind, and it makes a difference. So I'm going to put this bow on about 2 o'clock, this being 12, 1, 2. And what I like to do is, if you don't have any of this rope, let's see if you can see it, yeah. This is, I know General Wholesale carries this, a lot of the craft places carry this. And it's called, I think, wired rope. But it comes in different colors. Let me see, there's some, here's white. It comes in all different colors. I'm going to use the green for the grapevine today. And the reason I use this is I like to fish this through, and I've already done it on this bow, around the wire that I use to make the bow. So it's, because I can really tug on this, and I'm going to stick it in to the grapevine at about 2 o'clock. So, and another reason I like this is it's real sturdy. Just make sure, can y'all hear me when I turn away a little bit? Because I'm facing, I need to speak more?
No, just make sure you talk louder if you turn away.
Okay. I want you to see the wreath head on, and for me to do that, I kind of have to face the other direction. So just let me know, tell my monitor if you can't hear. I'll try to turn this way and so you can hear. Now I'm just fishing that wire through at about a 2 o'clock position. And you can see here they've come to the back. Now go ahead and just really tug on those. Give them a twist. And then you can either trim those off or just leave them for now. Okay. Now, there is my bow at about 2 o'clock. Okay. And I'm not going to worry too much about fluffing it at this point because we're going to be messing around with the other elements, and then we'll give it a final at the end. Nice fluff out.
Damon Oakes commented that his volume is fine and sounds great.
Perfect. Thank you, Damon. I'm still coming to kidnap you. Pack your bags. All right. Now, before I started today, since this was a custom order, I went ahead and selected my elements based on what the customer told me she wanted. She wanted mostly greens. She gave me a sample, or I have a picture of one that I had done as a custom order for another customer, and she liked this style with her ribbon. The only difference being she wanted something with not so many flowers. She wants mainly greens. So we're going to add a little bit of flowers. I just think it needs it, but she wants kind of this style. So that's a great reference if your customer gives you something that they like, to kind of go by, to give some guidance. So I went ahead and picked out my elements, and here are just some of the greens that I picked out, varying types of greens, some leaves, some ficus, and of course this beautiful fern that I love. I love this fern because it looks so real. And let's see, another type of fern. Anyway, we just picked out some greens, and then I've got some flowers and a little bit of texture. Here's where I start. Now, this may not be the way you do it, and that's fine. You probably have a better way than doing it the way I do it. Other designers have their preferred methods. What I do is I build it in layers. So my first layer that I like to work with will be the greens. So I'm going to start with just picking some of these greens, probably like this ficus. And this is where the pick machine comes in handy. So I'm going to just take some of these greens and pull them off, cut them off. Now, as far as the flow of the wreath, this particular design, if you can see, everything kind of flows out of the bow this way, down to about this point, and then it comes out from this way to about middle. So I'm going to start with my greens at the top, and I'm going to just take my stem, put it in the pick machine, give it a nice crimp, and then I'm going to dip it in my glue pen. All right, this is the same technique over and over and over again. So I'm just going to take this particular leaf, stick it into the kind of where the base of the bow is, and push it down in. Now, here's where you can kind of just start shaping your leaves, and we can always come back and sort of work on those as we go. If you want to, you can look to the back and see if your the steel pick is coming through the back side. And sometimes it will during this process today, so I'm going to show you what I do in that instance and just crimp it back. But for now, that one went straight through, and it's not showing on the back. Okay? So I'll just take a few more of these ficus leaves, and I could have had all this done ahead of time, but I wanted you all to see the process that I go through. Okay, so this one's going to get picked, and then I'm just going to come in sort of under the bow, find another spot, and push that pick in. Now, here's a point where I want you to really think more three-dimensional than flat. The designs that I do, I like to build them up, but everything needs to be coming out from the wreath, and it's not just flat to the grapevine. So you can here start go ahead and shaping out some of your leaves so they've got some natural flow to them, and they're not just flat. And that's what's going to set your designs apart, is when they look like more of a natural growth, say in the forest or wherever you pick them in your backyard. So I'm just going to continue this process on. Come down here. Now remember, we're going to use some other greens. We're going to use other greens, so you don't have to fill this like completely full of that one type of leaf. Just be random. Y'all like being random? I do too. Kind of like how I randomly picked my husband. He was just randomly where I was one time. He's not commenting, so. Alright, here we go. We're just picking and placing. And you can periodically check the back of your wreath to see if any of those picks are coming through. So far, not any are coming through on this one. And this is just, again, what layer is this? Let's see if you guys are listening. What layer is this? This is the base layer. That's the one I call the base layer, where you're just going to add greens and those kind of elements. Okay, the more you can come out from the wreath, the better. Now, I am going to be adding some tails. To this bow. I'm going to add some tails to the bow, but I still want something underneath. So I'm going to come right underneath the bow.
While you're talking about the bow, you've had 3 or 4 questions about, is there training on the bow, how to make the bow?
Okay, good question. There's some questions coming up about the bow. This is a terry bow. That's why I wore my terry bow shirt today. Hashtag terry bow. If you go to YouTube and just type in the search engine for terry bow, it will come up, the training videos on how to do that. Okay, now I'm just going to come underneath the bow and come from this direction. Come from this, these are kind of going this way. These are going this way, and these are going to kind of meet that one. So I need one more piece. Of ficus. And just pull that off. Okay. There's no football today. There may be Oscars. Is there Oscars today? What? Okay. Anyway, it's a great way to spend a Sunday afternoon. Now I'm just going to push this one in here. Now, we've already got a pretty good start, okay? From here, I'm just going to pick another one of the greens that I selected, and I haven't used these yet. They just came in from Select Artificials, one of my go-to floral design suppliers. Let me stick that in there. And these are some pretty green leaves that I haven't used yet. I can't wait to use these, so... Take this off. This is those, these are those, let me get my grammar correct, the soft touch ones. They feel really good. Again, just picking, I'm just the pick person. Now, sometimes if the wire on your floral piece is very small, and it doesn't seem to hold onto, it can actually slip out of that little corridor that the machine makes for this to hold. You can just take your needle nose pliers and just crimp it a little bit better so it'll grab it. Some of the stems might be a little smaller than there. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did earlier. Just going to come to the top. Remember about your flow, how I'm doing this particular design. Now this would be totally different if I didn't have a bow on here, and I have made designs where the customer did not want any ribbon, no ribbon. And of course you listen to what the customers want. We always do, and make sure that we get things the way that they would like them. Not the way I would like them necessarily. Okay. So this goes in. Now we're just building a base. Okay. Here's an example of where the pick came through to the back. And what I want to show you is I just take it with my needle nose and just bend it back onto the grapevine itself so that it's secure. If you want to be double sure it's in there, you can give it a little shot of glue just to hold it there. But even without the glue, it's not coming out. So the key to this kind of wreath is just the different varying leaf colors and sizes and textures. And this is just a little loose on here, so I'm going to crimp it. How fun is this? I get to work, take care of an order, have friends with me. Now I'm just going to bring in this leaf maybe right in here. Kind of fill that in. Again, pull it up, bend it, shape it. Make sure it's not flat on the wreath itself. You want it to come out and be more three-dimensional. See how I'm kind of pulling them out from the base. And don't be too worried about your wreath being just a complete exact circle. I think that's what makes grapevine so pretty. And that's just use that one. And let's see. Now, this is not a stock wreath. And if I was doing a stock wreath, I could just put whatever I wanted to on it. Because I wouldn't be working within the confines of what the customer wanted. So custom is really different than just what I consider one that I want to make for fun. Custom requires a little bit more thinking because you're making sure you're getting the elements the way the customer wants them. Okay, so I'm going to kind of just come in right here. Now, my hand is back here behind this grapevine, so I felt that pick push through, and it's right there. These are extremely sharp. Please be careful when dealing with them if you decide to use a pick machine, because they will cut you and you will bleed.
Damon Oates, talk about the pick machine. Damon Oates says at Hobby Lobby they list it for $1.99.
Yeah, Hobby Lobby does list this for $1.99. You can get it on Amazon, and I'll have a link at the end of the, I'll post it at the end. You can get it on Amazon for a little bit less than that with free shipping. Back when I bought my pick machine, Hobby Lobby was letting you use the 40% off. Some people are still getting that in some areas, some are not. So, see, there was one of those occasions where that pick slipped right off of there. If you have a Hobby Lobby near you and you want to try to get your pick machine there, I would take your 40 off and see if they'll honor that. If not, you can order it on Amazon. And free shipping's a big deal because these things weigh, I don't know, probably 10 pounds. Real heavy. Okay. How's everybody doing? Is this making sense? I'm trying to hurry. But I want you to get the technique down, because once you do, it's going to be so much easier. Now, I'm going to start kind of coming this way. So I'm going to bring this piece kind of right in there. And I know that stuck out through the back. Somewhere I felt it. Well, maybe not. But you can always come back later when you're finished and just double check the back, because you don't want anything sticking out that way. Again, work with your greenery. That's why when I go purchase materials, I'll bend it. I want to make sure it can really move when I put things together. Okay, so that's the second greens. Now, I'm going to add some of this fern. This is some of my favorite ferns. Mainly because, let me show you. Look at this leaf. Can you see how this is dying? And it just looks so much more natural than just dipped in some kind of dye, and it's all one color. It's three-dimensional. It's got some dimension to it. And to me, the key for grapevine is to make it look as natural as you can, as if you went out in nature and just picked up a bunch of elements and then put them together. So look for florals that have a lot more natural look to them. And they're making silk so much prettier now. So I'm just going to put that greenery right there. And you can kind of play with it and bring it maybe to the front. Now, on a long piece like this, sometimes what I like to do is see how it's kind of just, I don't know, it's kind of not doing what I really want it to do. So take a little piece of wire, just regular floral wire. Cut it off. Now I want this piece to sort of bend, and I'm going to attach it to this little piece of leaf. I'm going to attach it to this leaf, just with a little piece of wire, because that's the shape that I'm looking for right there.
Beverly Ann Hickey Hollins has showed up from Nova Scotia, Canada.
Wow, welcome. Hey, you guys go in and share, if you would, just to let people know we're here. If you've got some people that you think might be interested in what we're doing today, even though we've kind of gotten a little bit into the process, go ahead and share. I would appreciate if you'd share our video. Let everybody know what we're doing. So you see, I kind of made that do what I wanted it to do. Now, I think I'm going to use a different color green instead of the dying one. I'm going to use this, my favorite color, lime green. So we're going to put this maybe right here. And some of what I do I can teach you, some of it I can't, because it's just how I do it as far as seeing where everything's going to go. But trust yourselves, you know, give yourself some creative freedom. And I think most of it's just trusting that you can take a chance and make something beautiful. Okay, so that added something there, a little different color. Now let's go with one that's not quite so dead. This is kind of a halfway one dying a little bit. And pick it. And again, what layer is this? This is what I call the base layer. And you can see it takes a little bit of time doing it the way I do it. Okay. Don't get too analytical with it. Just go with it. Don't overanalyze it. Just start putting it in there, and you can always adjust it later. And the worst thing that could happen is you could just have to pull something out that you don't like where you've put it. Or just cut it off, you know. So I'm going to put a little piece of this right here. Now you can do this. A lot of designers do their work without a pick machine. It's certainly fine. This is, again, just my preference on how I do it. So if you don't have a pick machine, just push that into some glue. Dip it in, stick it in. I think it's getting hot in here, all these lights. I may have to have some air.
My wife's hot.
I turned it off so that the air conditioning wouldn't make a noise. But we're in my shop. This is a 1,200 square foot building. We have about 600 square feet on the bottom level and about 600 on the top. Heating and air. Thank you, Jesus. Because for so many years I worked in my garage and it was hot and cold in the winter and lots of bugs. And things like that. So I am very blessed to have my own building, and it's right next to my house, so that makes it even better when I have to go to work. Okay, I'm going to make this one go kind of right in here. Now, you can see we're kind of filling this up. We're filling it up with the greens, and I've got strings all over everywhere. Okay, so we're going to build a little bit more on the base. Let's see. If you can get this part of it down, you're going to do really great. Don't be afraid to use all different kinds of textures and different kinds of elements in your designs. So we're just going to tear this one apart. This is, let's see what they call this. Forest fern bush.
We had a question from Paulette Rickenbach.
Yes, Paulette.
She was asking, how far from the front of the wreath do you go all the way to the back? And I think she means with picks, with greenery, whatever, because you don't always use a pick.
Okay, as far as the greenery or florals or anything, when I use a pick, I push it all the way into the wreath, depending on the angle that I push it in. Sometimes it may push through to the back of the wreath itself, and that's when I bend it back. But I would make sure it's all the way into, and when you pick out a grapevine, the more it's got that leaves and stuff in it, the better, because that's just more for your glue to hold on to. I hope that answered your question. If not, just ask again in a different way. Maybe we can address it. Okay, I'm going to use these button or forest ferns. Wow, this one's being honored. Okay. Oh, I just pulled that off. Oh well. Okay, sometimes you have to take the needle nose and force it. And I'll come back and redo that where I had tied that on. Remember, the wilder the better. Just get wild. Born to be wild. We need to sing the song. Of course, that was in my era. I don't know if anybody today knows what that song was.
You're telling your age now.
Born to be wild. Okay. We're going to put it right here. Okay, I'm going to show you. See how this poked through? Let's see, where is it? Right there. Right there, it poked through. So I'm just going to crimp it around Grapevine.
There, some people, we got about 60 people watching.
Yay!
And, but some are having issues with their own personal internet. So
Okay.
Will they be able to view this somewhere?
You can view this later. It should play depending on your connection. You know, your connection speed is going to be important, but you should be able to view it later.
Where?
Just on your PC.
On Facebook?
On Facebook, on my Facebook business page. Look, this is starting to look really good. You see how when you add each layer, it changes the whole personality. It's kind of like when you're getting ready in the morning, you do your hair, you do your makeup, put on your clothes. Every layer that you do hopefully makes for a better finished product. So, but see how we're going outside of the perimeter of the base of the wreath. Let those pieces just go everywhere. And you can always come back and shape them much, much later. Okay. We're getting close to being finished. You see how much time it takes for the base to be done. And then the rest is sort of just filling in. I'm going to put a piece here. Let it come out. Let it come forward. Don't worry too much about. And I am going to put a little bit of that same fern under the bow, even though the tails are going to be showing in that position. Didn't have the deal today with me. She's working this weekend as an RN. She's in the hospital, working in the operating room. So you just got me today. All right. I think the base is complete. So this is just filled up with all kinds of greens. Make sure everybody can see. And now we're going to go into the next layer, which is your florals and flowers. Let me find a place for that. Now, because this customer did not really want a lot of flowers, we're not going to put a lot of flowers, but I did choose the wreath example that she gave me. The one she liked had this pick in it. So I'm going to use this pick, but I'm going to cut out this purple because she did not have any purple really in her ribbon selection. So we're going to just get rid of that purple flower. And here's how you do that. Goodbye. That's all there was to that one. Now, I'm going to put this entire pick in there just the way it is. I'm not going to cut it up. It looks like one of the pink flowers got lost, so I'm going to just cut that off. Get this off. This is kind of different for me to create with a whole audience. So I'm going to cut this stem off just a little bit. I am going to pick it. I'm going to put it in the glue. Give it a good blob of glue. Then I'm going to put this one in kind of behind the bow. Push it way in. And these flowers can just be a lot of this design work is just the shaping of whatever elements you're using, getting them to do what you want them to do. So if this flower wasn't really where you wanted it, just pull it out. We can move it to another position when we get ready to do the next one. And this is a good pick because it's got a lot of like vines in it, which is fun. So you can see we're kind of pulling from here and going around. Here's the second one. put this in there completely as a one piece. And I'm going to come way kind of down in here for this part. Remember, keep in mind, this customer didn't want very many flowers. So we're honoring that with just a little sprinkling to match the bow. Okay. When you find a good pick like this, buy as many as you can, because it's a good variety of textures, and it's got some variety of flowers. We're going to get rid of the purple. Goodbye. And then just kind of, just like you fluff your hair, just keep fluffing this pick until it does what you want it to. Again, what are we thinking about? Nature. We're thinking about how things grow. And they don't grow all lined up like ducks in a row. They're random. Just pull it out. Get it away from the wreath itself. Okay. It's probably going to be enough flowers for her based on our conversation. So I'm not worrying too much about those. Now the next layer, so you've got your base layer, which is just the greens. Then you have your flowers, whatever flowers you're going to put in. And then I like to do, the next layer is the texture layer. This is my favorite. Now, what I call texture is anything that's going to look like a vine. This is a particularly great one because it's got flowers on it. And you can do a lot with this. Let me cut this off. We're getting close. We're getting close, folks.
Donna Ibbotson says it's beautiful just the way it is.
Aw, you could stop here. Absolutely, you could, and it would be perfectly fine. But trust me, the next couple of little pieces are going to make all the difference. So we're going to put some of this texture vine in. Again, I use my pick machine. A little dab of glue. I'm going to come from the base of the top of the bow over this way. And that's not how I do every single wreath, but because of the flow of this one, that's how this one continues to grow. All right, here's where your artistic abilities come in. Take this vine. And thinking about nature, how it might grow. So just kind of play with it. Maybe fish it around one of the pieces of fern. You know, those vines that grow in nature, they're going to grab onto tree trunks and I'm just going to take, this has got some little pieces of wire pipe. I'm just going to fish it around. This is that same vine that we used on our demo wreath for our opt-in. And I got this from General Wholesale. We have some great elements up there. Okay, how we doing? All right, my time monitor says I've got 15 minutes. $15 minutes to finish this up, so we'll make it. I didn't make that one. Got a little misfire. Okay. Now I'm going to come about halfway here with this other vine. And here you can just make some decisions. Do you want to kind of just let it hang a little bit loosely? I kind of like the way that looks. Just let it kind of random. Again, it does not have to be a perfect circle for it to be beautiful. So, but if you have a piece that's too long, just work with it and maybe push it up inside the grapevine itself. And once you get all your elements in there, then you can kind of go back and play with the shape of it all. Alright, one last thing that I would like to put just a few pieces of this yellow and white. And I consider this, even though it's a sort of a little bit of a berry, I consider it some kind of texture. So let's just put a few pieces of this in there. Let's do the yellow. So we get the white on this flower. Any other questions? Remember, at the end I can go back and if you have any other questions to post, let me know and I can certainly answer them there.
Lisa Winan says she likes the small pops of white.
Yeah, the white really does kind of set it off, doesn't it? Because there's white in this ribbon, so that helps.
Eleanor Brooks says it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Regina Sellers
said, why didn't you show how you made that bow?
She says it's great.
Thank you, Regina. Regina, you might want to post in there Provo the Hands link so people that are interested in seeing the videos will know where to go. Now see, you just added a little pop of that yellow. I think it works really good. Just put one more piece of yellow, maybe two. And then the final touch is going to be adding the terry bow tails. And I'm going to show you how to do that, and then we will be done. And it's okay for the grapevine to show a little bit. It's not a crime against nature if it shows. And make sure you follow us on Facebook if you're not already. You can choose to get notifications of our upcoming Facebook Lives, and also follow us on Twitter. We're on Instagram. You can look at our website. And also check our blog periodically because we do have some information there as well. And we're excited about this new video challenge that we're doing to make some extra videos for our followers. And then I'm just going to put a little piece of this yellow right in here. Next time you go to the store to buy flowers, I want you to pick them up. And I want you to play and see if they bend. Okay? That's your homework assignment. Because the more they can do this, the more valuable they are. If they won't move, put it back. That's Terry's tip for the day. Okay, random, random, random. Alright, we're going to do the tails. And fluff my bow. Alright, this is a terry bow. The terry bow traditionally does not have tails on it, but I do like to use them. So I'm going to use these 3 ribbon for my tails. And I like the 1.5 inch in between the two wider ones. So we're going to use those, pull them all together, and just get a measurement on how long you want your tails. Just kind of give it a look-see. Maybe a little bit longer. This is our final step. We're bringing it to a close. Okay, so I just have a measurement there about how long I want. And just cut these. My sweetie, my monitor, is writing me love notes. Okay, so I have these 3. Alright, I'm going to bend them, make sure I find the middle. There's the middle. Now I'm going to crimp it. Okay, here's my secret. Take some of this rope. Wrap it around. Twist it. Now you can do this with floral wire. This thing, this rope is just so much more substantial to me. So I'm going to cut that piece. Watch what happens. I'm going to bend it. And you guessed it, I'm putting it in my pick machine. I'm laying that down in there. See? I'll put a little blue. And I want to make sure, remember how when we started I said this right here was kind of my center? We made that mark. Make sure that's back up in my center so I know where to put my tail. And I'm just going to push that in. If it comes through the back side, just push it all the way through the back and then crimp that pick back on itself. And I feel it, and I'll crimp it later after we're off. And there you have your tails. Now, what you can do on this side of the bow, if you want to go back after this step and add a few pieces of fern, like right in here across on this side of the bow, you can certainly do that, or even some of the texture, a piece of, say for instance this, so it's coming out on the other side of the bow, and that's probably what I'll do on this one as well. But at least you've got the basics. Okay, let's put it up here. Let's see. Did y'all like these? Aren't they cute? I'm going to be doing a bunch of these, so watch for those. Can they see it on the doorbell? Now I'm just going to trim these tails. Make sure we can see these, yeah. Just chevron the ends. And if this at this point they need a little bit more trimming, you can do that. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial today. I've had a lot of fun bringing it to you. We do some fun things here at Millendale Designs. We're excited about what the future is going to hold for us and all the great people we're meeting. Please share our page or share our information with your friends. Maybe on our next Facebook Live you can have a little get together and with some of your friends, and y'all can get some of the things that we're doing and do them together as a group. Would that be fun? That would be so fun. I'm just going to trim these edges. Any final questions, remarks, comments?
Everybody's enjoyed it. Great job. Beautiful. Great tutorial. Awesome job, Terry.
Oh, thank you.
We've had people from, I believe, Australia to Nova Scotia to California.
Wow, we're excited to have all of you join us. And this is just a little bit of the process that we go through when we make our designs here. But I think that turned out really pretty. And how long did it take us? Less than an hour? Well, I was doing a lot of talking. If I had been in here and just doing it, it would have gone a little bit faster. But remember, recap, remember your base, your greenery, the base and the greenery, your floral, your texture, and I put the bow on first, and that's those are the tips that I have to give you today. Other than that, have a good weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. I'm going to go over here and turn this off now. I can't stop it.